Welcome to another episode of Aussies taking over the NBA. We have some not so breaking news to bring to you. The Philadelphia 76ers have made a trade.
They have for Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler,
Buckets.
for Darius Saric, Robert Covington, Jared Bayless, and a 2022 second round pick.
Yeah, and I think there was someone else in there.
No, Jared Bayless.
They're acquiring.
They're acquiring
Summington. I don't know.
Peyton.
But I'll look it up while we're doing the read for all of our subscriptions. We are on YouTube and we're on hashtag The Collectives
Podcast Network. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast Addict. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We're getting some really good love on our downloads at the moment, which is great to see. We're going to try and bring to you all the week's games that the Aussies are involved in, and also do some shooting the shit once in a while, just talking about basic NBA stuff. But today is just purely a fallout for the Philly and trusting the process. And it looks like the kind of process has been broken.
Tell us how you feel, mate.
I'm a Philly fan myself. I've been watching the team rebuild for a number of years now, and I think that team, I think they were so desperate to get Jared Bayless off their books this year to sign someone to add depth that they went out and about and got rid of Covington, Saric, and a 2022 pick, which is completely irrelevant, to be honest with you. Covington's $11 million a season, Bayless is $8 million, Saric is $3.5 million. That's $22.5 million off their books.
Yeah.
To acquire Jimmy Butler, who is on $21 million a season, so it's kind of like a direct swap. And then they'll get bird rights to sign him to the max. So bird rights are someone when you've traded for, you reserve the right and only the right to offer a maximum contract when they come out of contract. No other team can offer the max.
Yep.
They can only go to 4 years, $140 million, whereas Philly can sign to 5 years, $190 million.
Yep. So they've got his bird rights. Yeah.
They've got his bird rights. That's what they got out of the trade. I mean, he's 29. What, you're going to take him to 34? It's just, for me, with his health, and
yeah,
I don't particularly like if they'd acquired him for Saric.
Just Saric.
No, not Saric, Bayless. Maybe throw in like a Korkmaz, because Korkmaz is quite a good outside shooter.
Yeah.
And then brought him in, and Robert Covington, for me, defines the process in Philly. Someone who's come up from the G League, who's improved year on year. He was the number one catch and shoot 3-point player last year. He's definitely shown his willingness to go inside and shoot from mid-range this year and get to the bucket. Made all defensive team last year. Pretty much hasn't missed a game in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a big loss. I think, you look on the Philly boards, a lot of people get angry at Covington. Covington's always put on their best player.
Yeah.
He's always put on the opposition's main scorer. You look at what he did to Kemba Walker. He locked Kemba Walker down for both games. Philly got there by 1 point in the end each. That's Covington. He's long. He's really averaging some good steals and some good blocks for a guy at 6'7". Saric, I can understand, part of the process, good rookie, will play some good minutes, hasn't shot too well. But again, I mean, you're getting one guy in who averages 22 points a game, two guys, and Saric last year was averaging 17 a game, Covington 14 a game. So you're getting, one for the price of two? I just don't like the trade. I'm not a fan. He's not a superstar. He's like a Carmelo purchase for me. Because Carmelo was their number one player at the Knicks until he was traded to OKC on a $25 million deal. You'd expect him to perform, but he could get there and he could just be shit. And you've given up two of your like role players in the team.
I think those two are pretty big role players too.
Yeah, like it's not like, I mean, maybe a Saric Fultz.
Yeah,
because
I think,
because you got Derrick Rose, but they could have got rid of Jeff Teague and had Fultz. And that would have been really good for Fultz to go into a guy like Rose. And Saric obviously is a strong power forward. And then you've got Covington that can potentially play the two. And you got this awesome lineup where Jimmy Buckets and Covington play and just defensive and can shoot the three ball. But both of them, I don't like it. I think it's a bit of a poor trade. I think we're going to get stuck with a guy. The process is about drafting, getting young guys to come through, and not bringing that superstar in quite yet. Like, they're
Yeah.
still raw. Like, Embiid is obviously having a fantastic season. Simmons is still very raw. Fultz is still more raw than that. I think Covington was probably our most well-rounded player.
Yeah.
Averaging 12, 13 points a game, shooting the three ball efficiently. I think he was shooting at about 40% this year. Fantastic defensive player. And Saric, who was just starting to heat up again. He averaged 40%, 39% last year from beyond the arc. Played really well against Boston in the final series. Showed he's got post skills, can bang down low, can defend well. And then you've got a guy who whinges. No, honestly, I don't want to play here because these guys are not serious. And it's just like, mate, you're a professional athlete. You're on you signed a contract. Stop fucking whinging.
Well, you want to hope that the guys that are at Philly still buy into bringing him into the team. Like, Embiid's a big character, and Ben Simmons is obviously a good foil because his character, while strong, isn't abrasive.
It's not abrasive, and he's not a look at me. I need to be the center of this team. Like, he's happy to sit back and let Fultz do his thing. When any other player in any other team would be like, "Well, I'm actually the rookie of the year. This guy is not a shooting guard." But he seems to be willing to work with anyone on the team. I think that's again, Brett Brown is a good manager, allowing that to kind of happen. But Jimmy Buckets is a very ISO player. Philly's not an ISO team at all.
Yeah.
They set plays for everyone. So how it'll be when it'll just, Butler will be like, all right, give me the ball for 5 minutes this quarter. I'm just going to spot up ISO, or I'm going to run this play. I'm going to run that play. When most of the team runs through Simmons.
Yeah. So I wonder how Jimmy Buckets is going to fit. Like, how is he going to plug himself into this team? And it's a similar thing to the LeBron thing where how is LeBron going to plug into that Lakers team? Like, I'm looking at this the same way. If Jimmy Buckets comes in, just goes, I just want to play with you guys, fit in here. Maybe it's just a 1-year rental. And he even says to the organization, look, maybe I don't really want to.
No, he's committed to signing a 5-year max.
Well, I don't know about that, man.
That's where he is committed. He wants to stay in Philly. He wants to be part of the process. This is why he's got there.
Well, who knows then? It could turn out to be all right. It could turn out to be a disaster.
I think it could turn out to be. I think we're going to have $30 million on our books for the next 5 years a season, and he's going to be a Luol Deng situation. He's going to be sad because...
Nah, I don't think it'll be that bad. But
I have a feeling like this isn't what the process is about. The process is not about the superstar. It's about generating the next superstar. It's about... Zaire Smith. It's about the Landry Shamet. It's about these guys finding the diamonds in the rough, getting the first round picks. All right. I just feel this team had another season.
Yeah, I felt like it too. I felt like the timeline was still another 2 or 3 years.
We're still another 2 years. Ben Simmons doesn't have an outside shot, and it's probably not going to have an outside shot for another 2 years. Fultz is still very raw. So maybe on the uptake, right? I guess think about it like this, like Ben Simmons and then obviously Saric, I think we're still on the rookie contract. So that's one aspect where you've got to sort of think about it from the outside, where moving Saric on now doesn't give you another slot to pay somebody a large salary out of that rookie contract. Well, Saric still had another year team option on his rookie contract. So you still had another 2 years, really, because we're only at the start of this year.
So that's one part where you can fit the Butler contract in there, which is all right. Like that's a good part of the trade, which I thought was all right. Like I would have if you could have made it just Saric and maybe 2 picks or something like that. Oh, and Bayless, obviously. You need to get Bayless off your books. I think maybe giving up Covington was just a bit, because I texted you and I said, oh yeah, no, that's not bad. Saric and Bayless off your books. That's all right. Like Jimmy Butler. And then I reread it and went, oh no, Covington as well. Oh no, I'm not sure about that.
No,
because he is a good shooter as well and he spaces the floor. But I guess Ben Simmons is going to have to shoot now. Like he's going to have to shoot.
Yeah, is it going to be like Jimmy seems to be one of those guys that kind of gets frustrated with players when they don't do exactly what he thinks they should be doing. I think Ben Simmons is one of those players that he thinks probably should be like just shooting the 3 ball because he's left open and give it a crack. And I don't think Ben wants to do that. I think I mean, Ben's, I think, ranked 9th in the NBA for field goal percentage. So it's efficient at what he does.
Yeah.
And he's still scoring at, 15 or 16 a game. So that's efficient scoring. He doesn't waste scoring opportunities. He obviously could take a lot more himself, but again, it wouldn't result in more points necessarily. He just takes the opportunities that are presented to him.
So maybe on the flip side, then Butler's going to fit in there because he's someone who can take the pressure off Simmons and Fultz and just go get you a bucket every now and then that you don't have to really work and stress for.
But I think that's not the Philadelphia process.
Yeah.
They're the highest passing team. They're the highest assist team. They're also the highest turnover team. And there's a reason for that. They move the ball around. They set plays. There's not one guy holding onto the ball except Embiid in the low post. There's not that mid-range guy that's just going to dribble, ISO score. There's not that. And there's not that for the reason is because potentially you've got one of the best distributors in the NBA in Simmons. You've got one of the best low post players and all-round centers in the game in Embiid. And you do have a range of shooters on the arc. Landry Shamet obviously coming in, had a terrible game the other night against Memphis, shot 1 from 15. It was given license to go, but shot 1 from 15 and ended up losing us the game single-handedly. But he's a rookie. That's what you get with rookies. That's if you're going to give them license to do it, and fuck it, that's what it is. And you've also got JJ Redick, who is still very, very good for his age and fantastic and can shoot the 3-ball. But none of them they're all team-based. They're all get to your positions, catch and shoot. Yeah. They're not, all right, give me the ball. It's what's happening to Lonzo Ball in Lakers. That's what I'm worried. Lonzo's stats have gone down severely this year because LeBron's just like, okay, yeah, we're not winning. Give me the ball. I'm worried that's going to be the same thing and it's going to ruin... It's not going to ruin Embiid because Embiid's still going to be that post player that's just going to get away and do whatever he wants to other teams and draw, 10 fouls a game and go to the line 20 times a game.
Yeah.
But that's not what the play center is set around a 6'10" offensive ball handler who can dish to anyone. It's almost like the Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, yeah.
Can see the floor so well because he's so tall and dish to anyone. And I just don't know how the superstar fits into that category unless it was a role-playing superstar, which there are none. Like KD's an ISO player.
Yeah. But he's got a lot more tools in his locker. I think.
Than Butler.
And I'm just trying to think it's like flipping Šarić and Covington. You're kind of flipping to out Covington's an outside shooter, but that's basically about it. Šarić is can play inside a little bit, developing,
but is an outside shooter
and can be an outside shooter. I guess you're kind of taking those two guys and putting a guy halfway between Embiid and Ben Simmons, to put it really bluntly. I think it can work, man. I think in my mind I can see it working. If to just get the ball out of Ben Simmons' hand for an option every now and then. I think the one option getting the ball out of Ben Simmons' hand is giving it to Embiid in the post right now.
Yeah.
And you need to have Embiid moving a lot. That's the way you're going to get the best out of him.
Yeah.
You need him moving around a lot, catching the ball off a step in the lane, away from defenses rather than statically posting up and trying to score like that. So maybe that collapses the space a little bit. You're losing a little bit of shooting. You've obviously got Chandler and Muscala need to take a big step up. Then you've got Korkmaz. He's going to have to take a big step up.
Well, I think one thing, and we saw this against Memphis the other day, is Korkmaz can shoot the 3-ball really well. So Korkmaz can come into that Šarić role quite well and play that just post up outside shooter.
The other thing is, this is going to give some room for Jonah Bolden as well.
It is. And that I was about to bring up, is the upside for the Aussies is Jonah Bolden is going to be an integral part of the minute structure and rotation now, playing at the power forward position. And, with Embiid, Bolden, Butler, Simmons, Fultz, that's a very long lineup. That is a length lineup with not being completely slow in transition. It's not like a, Gasol special or a Memphis where they're, quite long but very slow in transition. I
it's
just Covington. It's the Covington trade that just rubs me a little bit wrong way. I think
where
easily one of the contender for defensive player of the year, along with Embiid.
And like you were saying, he came through the system too, so it's someone
he's
you
the
have
process,
an affinity to. Yeah,
and the guys play with him. They know him. They play with him day in, day out. They have done. He's been there for 5 years. Worked his way up from a G League. I think he was on $500,000 first season. Went to $1 million the second season, and finally by the fourth season got a contract of a decent contract.
I think it was 3 years, 14, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was 3 years, 34.
Oh, all up.
Yeah, he's on 10, 11, and then 13.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wish these guys all the best. I think, as you know, Philly guys have put out there that they're going to be much loved and missed because they are part of the process. Yeah. We're not getting rid of them because they're crap. We're getting rid of them because we think that we can win with Jimmy Butler, and I don't think we can. I don't think he's going to bring us a title.
Well, it's a big ask. I think
if you're going to sign a bird right max,
how big is your window first? Like, how big do you think that window to win a title is? Because for me, it's 5 years. They can in 5 years.
Well, I think that's why he's trying to sign it. I mean, Jimmy Butler's not going to win your title at 34. Put it that way.
No, well, that's where I think maybe his contract might hamstring the team a little bit.
I think realistically,
Simmons,
you've got 3
years.
Get
paid as well.
Well, I think you're going to have 3 guys. I mean, Philadelphia is ranked 29 out of 30 in terms of salaries in the NBA. It just shows you how little they're playing and how efficiently they're playing for the money that they're on.
Yeah. So their cap, that hasn't got the move yet. But I don't know. I'm not invested in the team like you.
Yes.
So obviously losing Šarić, that doesn't mean much to me. I'm just like, well, if you're flipping that for Butler, that makes sense to me.
Yes. And the Bayless. And,
of course, Bayless.
Yeah, Bayless. Yeah. And then I probably would have thrown a Quag Muzz or a first-round pick in there to get Butler. But I think they don't want a first-round pick. I think they want Minnesota need a couple of good role players.
And that's the
lineup where you've got Derrick Rose, who's in form. You've got Karl Anthony Towns, who is a somewhat decent center. You've got Wiggins at the 2, Covington at the 3, and Šarić at the 4. Hold on a minute. This isn't actually a bad lineup compared to what they got now. They've actually gained because all Jimmy Butler was doing was just creating tension in a Thibodeau.
Yeah,
Timberwolves.
I wonder how much, obviously Minnesota had all the bargaining power in that.
Yeah, they did. And I just think that, we got jibbed.
Well, they held all the chips really. No, we want Ben Simmons. No, you can't have Ben Simmons. Well, then we're not doing a deal type of thing. I'm pretty sure that started about a month ago. So this has probably obviously been ongoing back and forth. We'll throw in this or that. So I think they had the stronger bargaining position. It was just about how Philly wanted to make that change to the roster where they've had to bring him in type of thing. And it's just about how much are we willing to give up.
And apparently they were willing to give up a fair bit.
And Covington, man. Ugh. But that's, that is what it is. Look, as a neutral, I feel like Jimmy Butler's going to give you a lot more. To be honest,
the odds have gone down to win the Eastern Conference from 7-1 to 3-1.
Yeah,
and to win the league.
So this is updated. Actually, it's got Jimmy Butler's salary in there, and you're $2 million over the cap now with Butler there. So you've basically had to get rid of Šarić and Covington, as well as old matey, whatever his name is, Bayless.
Bayless, yeah,
to fit him in. Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah, but then you just pay luxury salary tax. Who cares? They're all loaded. Philly has the third best attendance in the country.
They've got $20 million in tax base, so they're way under the tax.
Yeah,
but the cap, they're $2 million over the cap. So, it's just it's out there, man. It feels like a trade where if Philly were 2-10 to start the season,
makes sense.
Quick. Get someone in there. We need it badly. We need to get.
But I think they were just warming up. This is what I mean. Šarić hit 4 out of 5 previous game. Sorry, Covington was winning games defensively, and you're like, oh, this team still has a season to see where it's going.
Yeah,
and then make the trade in the offseason where they probably could have signed Jimmy Butler and traded Covington traded Saric and got like a good role player, a backup role player to complement like a power forward position, or if you needed, because Saric, you wanted to get money for Saric before he was off rookie contract, and then Bayless comes out of contract anyway, so he's released. So it's just like, it doesn't make the sense to do it right now. It just seems a bit rushed early in the season. Like, oh, quick, we're 8-6 and we need to get a superstar in to win us some games. Whereas I think, well, if we're a plus 500 team, just get to the playoffs and let Embiid and Simmons go to work. I mean, it's still 70 games away. It's a long season. You've got some good depth guys to actually bring into the team and develop, like Korkmaz, Shamet, and Bolden. And it could be a long season of these guys. And, just to prove a point, TJ McConnell comes out and scores 14 in the fourth quarter the other day, and you potentially have the best third string point guard in the league. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you could, like, the Fultz deal makes sense. All right, let's get Jimmy Butler in for Fultz and Saric and Bayless and a second player, a little bit on tax. And hold on a minute, we've got Coven and Butler can play the two.
Yeah.
And Redick can come off the bench. Like, wow, then you've got some scoring options.
Yeah.
And, that's...
But that's like I said, that Minnesota had all the leverage in that trade, really.
Well, I didn't, because they asked for Fultz. And they're not willing to give Fultz up because they think he's going to be a superstar. But hold on, you've got 2 point guards already.
It's all, and Brett Brown's still their active GM and coach too.
He's pretty much running the club. Elton Brand.
Elton Brand's.
But Elton Brand's just a figurehead.
You reckon?
Yeah, he's a puppet.
Maybe he's come in and cracking some skulls, mate.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Brett Brown wanted the superstar. He didn't get it with LeBron over the summer. He didn't get it with Paul George over the summer, and he wanted
Kawhi.
He wanted Kawhi. Didn't get Kawhi because I think he wanted. I think Pop asked for Ben Simmons and Saric.
Like, how about no, Pop?
Yeah.
No.
How about no?
But that's the same with Minnesota. They're probably like Ben Simmons and Covington and Embiid and Korkmaz. Shut up, Tibbs. No. Look, on the bright side, I reckon Butler's going to be all right because he's also a high intensity player too. Like, obviously injuries are uncontrollable as lightning in a bottle. Like, you can't control that. But I think attitude wise, he's going to be a good influence on this team because Embiid's a high character guy who wants to work hard, and Simmons is also a high character guy that under the surface wants to work hard.
Yeah, these guys want to win. They play hard for 48 minutes. There's no skiving off. They do.
So that's where I don't think you'll need to worry about that. Whereas in Minnesota, a few of their guys just randomly got paid out of nothing. It's like, why are you paying these guys? Like, they've done nothing. And obviously Jimmy Butler being worth the money that these guys were getting, that rubbed him the wrong way, and he got upset about that. And he's a feisty character. Like, whereas I think in this environment, if he plugs in, parks it a little bit, I think he's going to be all right.
Well, the first game's going to be against the Magic on Thursday in the US, Friday in Australia. I think we got one more game before that, where we're going to be down to 9 players, which is going to be a bit tough.
Who's that in the meantime?
In the meantime,
I've got the schedule here. Is there any G League happening? So Bolden's officially back up from the G League.
Bolden's officially back up. We've got obviously Zaire Smith, Mike Muscala's still out as well because he's injured. He actually broke his nose in practice.
Oh, okay.
Playing the
Heat.
Yeah.
Badly. The Heat tomorrow.
Monday time in America and Tuesday in Australia. So we've got Chandler, who's on minutes restrictions. He'll come back. So we've got 10 players, with Chandler being on minutes restrictions. And so we've got 3 point guards out of 10 players. We're lucky that TJ can play the 2 pretty well. And Fultz has been in somewhat good form, getting to the bucket well against the Grizzlies. We just kind of shat the bed in that game, which is understandable when you get into Memphis at 3 o'clock in the morning from a game the night before.
Yeah, brutal.
That's a stupid roster. Like, if you're going to play back-to-backs like that, do it at home. Don't do it on the road.
Yeah,
play road games at least a day apart. It's just, I think the schedule is a little bit stupid sometimes
like
in the NBA.
West, crazy East-West stuff.
So I suppose that's rant over. It'll be
that's all right.
Good to see, but disappointed that the process ends.
Well,
the process ends. It does.
Maybe the process begins again.
Nah, process ends.
Yeah,
it's the end of the process. This is the mature era of Philadelphia, the title contenders.
Yeah,
you've got your superstar.
Yeah,
you have to then. It's not like second round isn't an option anymore. You have to push the conference final. If you're not getting there, heads need to roll. That's where we got to be at. Well, really, if you're going to make a move like this and you're not going to let the team that they're develop and you're going to make a play for a big superstar,
Yep.
if you're not getting to the Eastern Conference Finals against either the Celts or the Bucks or the Raptors, then there needs to be a change in what you do as a team.
So
Coaching staff.
Yeah, but I think it's too early, man. Like, I think...
But it's too early. It is too early right now. But 70 games from now, we're going to know.
Yeah. I think you got to look at how this team gets to the finals, right? And how they play in the finals. Because if they have a good end of season, you know, they roll into the playoffs, they play well, things go all right, they maybe get to the East finals, they don't make it out. Like, now you've got a big decision about Butler. You've got to go, do we want to keep going with this guy? We've got to pay Simmons soon. We've got to retool the roster a little bit. It's going to be interesting, at the very least. I think, as a neutral looking at that, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see just how this pays off. And I like Butler, man. I think he's a great player. Good player, yeah.
I think he's a good player, but I just don't think it fits the franchise at this point. I'd like to see what the coaching staff are going to do to change things. Look, it's a high passing, high risk, high reward style of play. So
you might buy into that. You never know.
Yes.
So what kind of lineups do you reckon?
I think that we start Wilson Chandler or Jonah Bolden at the 4. That's Wilson being on restricted minutes is probably going to be Jonah at the 4.
Yeah, that'd be good, man.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm excited. It was like, well, hold on, we've got Wilson Chandler coming back from injury. We've got Saric, Bolden sent to the G League, and then all of a sudden, bang, straight up, he'll be in the thick of it for the rest of the season. So that's going to be great for his development. Embiid
he looked good
5.
too. He drained a nice 3 the other day. Yeah. I saw that. Nice in transition. Nothing but cotton. Nothing but cotton.
Look, he's one of those players that's going to be hot and cold for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you just got to let him work on that. It's just part of what it is being a rookie. But again, you know, same as Antetokounmpo, look at him 5 years down the track.
Yeah, for sure.
And Bolden's young too. It's Gaines that's getting there. Get his body right, get vigor. Embiid at the 5, Amir Johnson obviously backing him up. At the 3, you've got Jimmy Butler probably playing small forward. Switching to the 2, I reckon, in a backup lineup with Redick. I don't really know who else you play at the 3. Maybe some Cork Mars playing small forward. Maybe some Mike Muscala as to make it a long lineup. Then obviously 2, you got Shamet, Redick, and at the 1 you got Fultz, Simmons, and McConnell kind of backing things up. So
there's some good stagger there, obviously, with the 3 different point guards. I wonder if they're going to throw out that Markel Fultz and Simmons stuff now.
No, I don't think so. The lowest, I think they're pretty adamant on keeping with that for a while. But I think what that does, Jimmy Butler does do in that respect, is that he ups the offensive rating a bit in the ISO, because Covington's a great transition catch and shoot player, but he's not going to score in bulk. Whereas if you have that lineup, then it can be like a dish to Jimmy kind of shoot mid-range game.
His own shot, really.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's playing at the 3, how that's going to impact Fultz, because Fultz is a bit of
it's like a third ball handler. It's just a little bit crowded for my liking, which was why I don't think it works. Thing. Like, if the premise is Fultz, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sour taste.
Simmons has got to shoot, man. It's just he's got to shoot.
It's hilarious. It is hilarious how much he does to not shoot. He like runs down there and like stops and looks around and waits for like the whole team to run down or someone to get free, and like, okay, now I'll flick.
And then 2 guys will just run away from him, and he would just be standing there, terminated his dribbles, so he can't go anywhere. And then he just passes it to someone, and he's like, man, just turn and put up a shot. But
painful.
Hopefully,
great to watch and bad to watch.
I hope Jimmy Butler comes in there and goes, I want you guys to be better, and I want to help you get better. And they all feed off that, as opposed to he comes in there acting like, you got to be as good as me type of thing. I don't think they're going to react well to that.
No.
Embiid.
Well, I think let's just be realistic. Embiid is better than Jimmy Butler.
Well, he's more valuable to your franchise. I think. Not like, obviously you can't compare Jimmy Butler, who's a shooting guard, to the type of game that Embiid has.
Embiid has. But if you're going to have one or the other in your franchise, you want Embiid.
Plus, Embiid is important to that. Like, he's the heartbeat of the team too. That's another thing that's not a stat on the page. Like, he's the leader, the heartbeat. Like, you can't just trade that out for Jimmy Butler.
No.
I don't think.
No.
So that's got to fit as well. So, man, it could be
a season
right.
to see. I'd feel I'd have such a bad taste in my mouth if we got to the end of the season, we're out in the first and second round of the playoffs, and we're just like, nah, Jimmy's not right for this team, and we've traded.
Jimmy?
Yes, see Jimmy, go and sign somewhere else. And then we've traded away Saric and Covington.
Let's bring him back.
Anyway,
Like you did, like Ilyasova, didn't he leave and then come back?
yeah, he did, but he was on the end of his contract at Atlanta, and he got released.
Yeah.
So he was only on min, but 3 21 at the Bucks. All right, guys,
it's good. I think.
Yep.
As a neutral, the big plus is obviously Jonah Bolden will get some more exposure into this team, which will be great for him and great for Aussies in general. Watching Aussies, us
Going
watching Aussies.
into the FIBA World Cup.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll make that.
I think he will.
There's a few good Aussies, young Aussies, coming up.
You could play the 4 or 5. Like, it's good. You'd have to have depth at the 4 or the 5, which Bolden can play. And
How
shoot.
many squad places do they get in those Boomers teams?
15. Yeah, 15. So one at each position usually, and then
You've obviously got to think Baines, Bogut, maybe Ingles.
Baines, Bogut, Bolden, Ingles, Simmons, Thon, Delhi, Paddy at the 2.
Benny Simmons, yeah.
Ben Simmons. I'd probably add Goulding to that. I think he's probably one of the only, like, because
Goulding's probably one of the only.
We need a sharpshooter. Like, that's the only one.
And Brokoff, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, but not really playing much, and
No.
maybe you've got some G League time. Look, I would fucking stick Dengadillo at the 3. Like, I don't know what it is, but the dude is a natural scorer.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
natural scoring option. 6'7". I'd stick him in at the 3. Mitch Creek.
Yeah, man, he could get it. He could get some.
He's scoring
time too.
crazy minutes. He's crazy minutes and crazy points for 6'6", playing these guys that are like 6'9" at 4, and just having his way with them. It's good to see.
Yeah.
But we're going to wrap up some G League on the next podcast. We had
Yep.
some G League on the last podcast. Big part of what we do now, because obviously there's so many Aussies in the G League. And Isaac Humphreys, having some
Humphreys
good
is doing
minutes
really well,
at
yeah.
Erie Bayhawks. So good to see.
There's more to come. So,
More
yeah.
to come. We should be back probably on Thursday with another pod, wrapping up some games. In the meantime, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Podcast Addict. Send us your thoughts, comment, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to hear. But we'll be getting this out there to all our listeners.
Yep. All right.
Peace out.
So, good luck, Philly, in this trade.
Thanks.
No, it'll be all right, man. It'll be all right.
It'll be all right.
It sucks. It really does suck when you lose players that you like.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell Covington was someone where you're like, man, I watched him come up. And
Yeah.
he was growing, and he was such a nice, good, underrated player. And it's not like he got poached. It was like, oh, no, sorry, we need to get rid of you to get this other guy in.
Yeah.
Like, which stings a bit
Shafted.
as well.
I'm going to say
Yeah,
shafted.
she kind of got shafted. But it's a business, man.
It is
That's
business.
what
It
they say.
is. Sell jerseys.
All right, peeps.
See ya.
Peace.